Hey everyone, this is Path, and today we're covering the balance changes from the Season 9 update and their effects on the game. But first, I would like to apologize on behalf of our team. I was busy the last week doing some intense grinding on calculus, and I couldn't get a voiceover done in time. Thomas, who's the head coach for Luminosity Gaming in the Codmobile Championship, had a health issue, so he couldn't do it either. And the other two members would normally substitute for the voiceover are both coincidentally busy. Again, we want to apologize for this video taking so long. But let's get back into the weapon changes. Starting with the assault rifles, the CR56 AMAX received a range buff to its second and third damage phases. This extends the potential 4-tap range to 26 meters and the 5-tap range to 30 meters. This is a welcome change, however the range is still lacking compared to the other assault rifles, and the harsh damage drop-off at the final range prevents it from being a viable option in multiplayer. The M67 ammo conversion now also boosts bullet spread accuracy, which should make it more consistent at range, but there is still virtually no reason to use it over the SKS. But if you want to use it, here's a build you could try. The AS-10's aim down sight time has been reduced by 2 frames, bringing it more in line with some of the more popular assault rifles, like the Kilo 141 in terms of handling. Its horizontal recoil has also been reduced, and considering that it already has low recoil, this should make it a lot more reliable at long range. While the AS-10 won't be a very popular option due to the slower fire rate, it is still a very rewarding weapon if you can land shots, especially with a Branson barrel. Both the AK-47 and the EM2 have received an aim-down sight time reduction of 20 milliseconds. Just like the AS-10, this brings it closer to the other assault rifles, which will make it more effective at skirmish gunfights. Although the slow fire rate means it will be harder to use than the other assault rifles. Here are the builds for both weapons. The Grau 556 got very interesting changes. The Tempest 26.4-inch Archangel barrel on the Grau 556 now boosts range more and penalizes strafing speed less. This should make it better when building it as a main AR, but since the weapon performs better as a versatile assault rifle, this won't affect the weapon as much. However, the FSS 20.8-inch Nexus barrel now has a 6% strafing speed penalty. Since this is the most used barrel overall, the Grau has effectively received a minor strafing speed nerf, although it is still a great flex assault rifle. For the AS-Val, the 15-round FMJ ammo conversion no longer penalizes cinch and improves bullet spread accuracy significantly. This should make it much more reliable, as previously it had a massive flinch penalty, which instantly made it now worth using over the SKS. At least right now it is somewhat viable. The HVK-30's magazine size with large caliber has been reduced to 28. This makes it harder to get multiple kills in one magazine. However, it retains its absurd damage profile for the large caliber ammo. So for those who can manage their ammo well, this will still be a top tier weapon, and here's a build for it. The LK-24's max bullet spread accuracy has been nerfed from 7.85 to 7.4 on the 11-point scale, which is still slightly better than the Kilo 141. And its initial bullet spread accuracy has been reduced from 10.1 to 8.98, going from one of the most accurate assault rifles in the game to being nearly identical to the Kilo 141. This is still a really good bullet spread accuracy score, so it will remain a top tier main AR, and as such, the build remains the same as the last season. Moving on to the submachine guns, the PDW-57's horizontal recoil has been reduced, which will make it quite a bit easier to use at range, as the recoil will be mostly vertical now. We might see this weapon being more commonly used since it already has great mobility, good bullet spread accuracy, and range for an SMG, and decent time to kill, with the only negative being the reload time. If you want to try it out, here's a build you can get started with. The Chicom's horizontal recoil has been reduced as well, which will make it very accurate at range, since it already has minimal vertical kick, but due to its burst fire nature and short range profile, it is not likely to be a viable option anytime soon, unfortunately. The Pharo got a reduction to the vertical recoil, which should mean that it is usable outside of close quarters, as it won't kick nearly as hard. But just like the Chicom, the burst fire nature of the weapon will make it a less desirable option. The underbarrel taser now takes 2 seconds to recharge instead of 3, but it doesn't really matter since this is mostly just a waste of an attachment. The no-stock attachment on the Holger 26 now boosts strafing speed by 26% instead of the previous 40%. This means that this weapon can no longer have ridiculously fast strafing speeds, which was one of the few things that make it so strong in the first place. It will be quite a bit more balanced this season, although it is still a very easy weapon that features decent time to kill and bullet spread accuracy, along with good range and recoil control. This video was made in partnership with Chicom Data, an online tool made to assist in comparing weapon stats and finding the best builds for your weapons. Chicom Data features detailed stats provided by the teams as stats on duty, along with time to kill charts to make it easier to find which weapon is better for you. You will also be able to save your weapon loadouts for future reference and even share them with friends. The link to it will be in the description below. The Echo Grenade got buffed. It now scans twice before expiring. This will make it more effective at gathering intel, especially in Search and Destroy, but it may also be useful in Control. Now onto the perks. Spycraft now hacks equipment faster, so it should be easier to counter the sentry guns on shipment, but it won't see any use out of that, let's be honest. The mental speed boost of Agile has been improved, which pretty much doesn't matter since it is a waste of a red perk slot, as the sprint down reduction is really small, and being able to mental faster is pretty niche of a perk, so it's still mostly useless. Demo Expert now boosts explosive damage by an additional 5%. This is basically unnoticeable, you can pretty much consider it unchanged. Recon got a buff as well. The detection range has been increased by 2 meters. This makes it more usable, but because it is in the same perk class as Quick Fix and Toughness, I don't think it's gonna be used much. Next, we're moving on to the Battle Royale exclusive changes. The M13 got a damage buff to its second and third ranges, going from 18 to 16 to 19 to 18, which reduces shots to kill against 300 health targets for both of these ranges. This actually makes it one of the best assault rifles to use, as it now has a great and consistent time to kill that is on par with the AMAX, while having decent recoil and good bullet speed. If you want to try it out, here's a build for it. The AK-117's aim assist has been reduced to be the same like most other weapons, but in return, it received a minor range buff. Even without the aim assist, it is still a very competitive weapon due to the overall good time to kill, although it is outclassed by the AMAX and the newly buffed M13. The AS Val's final damage drop-off has been removed. This change sounds really good because now it has a godly time to kill of 975 milliseconds against 300 health targets at max range, which is only slightly behind the S36. However, the AS Val's recoil is so high that you would never consider using it for those ranges in the first place. So this change won't really happen, unless you're trying to use AS Val at long range, which you really shouldn't. The Shockwave class now comes with only one charge when upgraded, which makes it far less flammable, as you can no longer clear half the enemy's health by just pressing it twice. In return, it recharges 4 seconds faster. Overall, this is a good nerf to a class that is very oppressive and infuriating to play against, but it'll still be a great option due to the instant free damage. Again, free damage is free damage. The Kinetic Station class now gives more health, going from 50 to 75 when not upgraded and 70 to 100 when upgraded, effectively requiring 1 to 2 extra shots to kill. This will be a really strong pick in squads, as the extra health gives the whole team a significant health advantage. The shield turret from the Desperado class has received a plethora of buffs. For starters, the damage per shot has been increased, which reduces overall shots to kill. Upper body multipliers have been added as well, which further improves the lethality at mid-range. It also deals an insane amount of bullet impact, having a score of 3, which makes it really hard to challenge on the shield turret. And the bullet speed along with the vehicle damage has been increased, so it'll be very effective at shredding enemy vehicles. This might become a very good option for solo versus squads, as it will be hard to outgun when placed correctly. Although I don't think it will be as ideal in squads, as it provides very little utility to the team besides suppressing fire if you have a vantage. And that pretty much covers everything there is to know about the changes that happened this season. Let us know in the comments below what do you think about these changes. If you found the video helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Go dog.